Welcome to Best of Seven, the weekly podcast where we talk about esports, news, and just general StarCraft goodness. With me on the show today is Airless, Nike Agogo, and our special guest, Oskar. So could we get an intro on Oskar? Because he's kind of a cool dude. Fatima?
Oskar is a great dude. We had the pleasure of meeting Oskar at the Chow Bistro down by Capitol in Seattle, which has unfortunately closed down now. So we did spend the last BarCraft at the location which held the first BarCraft, which is kind of amazing, kind of lucky on our part. And we met him there, and we had a chance to talk to him about Starcraft and BarCraft in general. And Katie and him have kept in contact, so.
Yeah, and it was actually really cool because we rolled in there with like 4 or 5 girls, and yeah, it was so much fun. We just kind of like got to sit and watch StarCraft at a bar, and Oskar like just told us all kinds of
Oskar had an
stuff.
Amazing menu.
Yes,
menu
we're gonna
drinks,
talk. We'll talk about that.
Katie has.
We're gonna talk about the menu. We're gonna bring it up. That's definitely getting brought up. But yeah, so Oscar's like super awesome, super down to earth, and so this whole interview is to get to know him and to get to know exactly how the BarCraft thing ended up coming about. So yeah, so you want to talk? Let's talk about how our week's been, and then we'll get into some cool stuff. So Oskar, why don't you kick it off? Why don't you tell us how your week's been?
Oh, I'm busy. I work for Second Life, the virtual reality thing. So that definitely keeps me busy. I'm a lead engineer for the QA team on the server side of things, and so that takes up the majority of my time. Haven't even really had much time to game this week. I brushed up my bronze skills last night. Just in case we play some matches, I got to make sure that I can do my 12-minute Marine rush in time. Been working on it. It was a 13-minute.
Forgot our Kaziki. So okay, that's cool. And so yeah, so have you been excited about coming on to talk to us?
I'm totally excited. I am really excited to do this. So this was a lot of fun. That last BarCraft at Chow, the one that you girls came to, was so much fun. It was the first BarCraft where there were more girls than guys, and that was just so awesome.
Achievement unlocked.
Girls, I mean, BarCraft needs more girls. I mean, esports needs more girls in general. I refer to it as the Marine to medic ratio, and it's usually not in the proper favor. So that was a fun night. I mean, you brought so many people, and it was good.
Probably
it was
why
fun.
you make too many medevacs.
Yeah, I mean, we had so much fun. That was definitely the highlight of the trip for me, because I had come out to Seattle, and like, literally, when I knew I was coming to Seattle, I was like, I gotta find a BarCraft. They're gonna have BarCraft there. And like, we didn't even really realize it, like, until we started researching it, that the BarCraft we were gonna go to was, like, the very first one. So, it was just so exciting, like, for so many reasons, and, yeah, it was so cool. Like, literally, that was like my favorite thing to talk about. It's still one of my favorite things to talk about. I was like, yeah, I was at this BarCraft, and we had these fungal growth shots, which we're totally going to talk about, and we're totally going to get into how you make those, because I try to explain them, and I'm like, there's like blue stuff, and then you put
Baileys and other stuff.
And the Baileys congeal.
Grenadine.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's a tricky shot.
yeah, so we'll get to that later, but okay, so Mike, what's your week been like? What have you been doing?
Playing a lot of StarCraft. They extended the season. It's ending, instead of tomorrow, it's ending on September 11th.
Yes! Oh, that's
So
cool.
we have our chance to rank up. I might have a chance at top 8, but I probably won't. So it's kind of sad.
Totally move up.
Other than that, I've been watching a lot of replays, a lot of Violet replays. Violet's kind of a badass. And pretty much that's it. How about you, Katie?
Well, let's see. For me, it's been a pretty... I actually got a full night's sleep last night, which was really exciting. Since before MLG, I haven't slept a full night, so last night was my first full night's sleep, so that was really good. But besides that, you know, I've been playing some 1v1s more than normal. We did some team games the past couple days, and yeah, just getting ready for this interview, which we were really excited about. So that's kind of what I've been doing. How about you, Tima?
Well, I attempted to do 1v1s. I was really inspired by a lot of the games I saw at MLG, and I'm the kind of person that if I watch enough StarCraft, I start to implement what I see into my gameplay. If you've noticed, Mike, watching my replays, I wasn't doing the standard what I do. I started doing what pro players do, and apparently it works. And so I started doing that, and which, I mean, I moved up a couple ranks. I only played for like 3 hours or so, but I moved up like 6 ranks or so, and so. I feel that if I continue to do that, I should be able to move up to a much higher rank, at least in this league, if not the next. I was playing some high platinum people at a gold level, so I was like, what? So, I mean, now that they've extended the season, I might be able to make plat before the season ends. We'll see.
Yeah, if you put the games in, you have the time.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, alright. Sounds like everyone's had a pretty okay week. We've got some bronze action going for Oskar, and which is totally awesome. We're just so glad that you jumped in. I mean, we're totally going to play some games after this, so that'll be good.
Absolutely.
So let's start at the very beginning. How did you get into gaming, and how did it lead into StarCraft 2?
How did I get into gaming? All right. Okay. So this may date me slightly. When I was in kindergarten, my dad bought me Pong. Not like Pong for like an Atari, like the actual like box that only played Pong, and the controllers were hardwired, and it had like 3 switches for like difficulty setting, and that's all it did. And he took it away and sold it when my grades in kindergarten started to drop.
Ooh, kindergarten grades.
Coloring is hard.
So that's my official like start in video gaming. But then it just like progressed through all the consoles since then. I was working at Microsoft in the late '90s when my coworkers were all playing Starcraft and convinced me to play it, and I just completely fell in love with it. I've never been good at it, but I've always loved it. In fact, the only way I could beat them was if I could make the game last longer than they couldn't smoke. So
nice.
like I could make the game last longer than 25 or 30 minutes, like their need for nicotine, they would just like drop the mouse and just like go outside and smoke, and then I could finish them off. That was the only way I could beat them. So yeah, I've always liked StarCraft, but I was never really into the professional gaming scene. I always like knew about it. I did compete in CompUSA's like first like StarCraft like nationwide like tournament, and I was just destroyed in like round 1, and that's when I realized I'm like, I should probably get a job and leave this.
So have you played any other RTSs before StarCraft?
Like occasionally, StarCraft's the first one that really like hit for me. I mean, there were a couple others that I poked at, but StarCraft just clicked. It was just the one. So I would always have a little. And we used to when StarCraft 2 came out, I started resetting up like LAN events for my friends and stuff. Just small stuff, like hanging out at my house, but it was always focused around like more of a social environment instead of just like gaming all night. And so we would always we would sit there and experiment with like different like drinks, and we'd try and come up with like StarCraft themed drinks. So I mean, you can kind of see where like this progressed into wanting to put it into a bar. So
so
we would
setting drinks, games.
And so that's like the prehistory. And then when the NASL came out, season 1, I was reading on Reddit, and someone posted in Art Seattle that the NASL was coming out, and you could go to his condo and watch the opening night with him. And I'm like, that's awesome. I've never heard of the NASL before. I didn't know anything about it. And so I went there, and I just had a ton of fun. There was like a lot of people. I really didn't even know that there were that many people in Seattle that liked StarCraft. I mean, I thought it was just me. I really had no.
You were like, I'm gonna go and hang out by myself.
I really did. A lot of people that showed up, and I'm like, guys, this is cool. This is fun. We should do it in a bar. And they're like, yeah, that's cool, but it'll never happen. And I was like, no, I really think it could happen. And about the same time, I met a bar owner. His name is Hyung Chung, and he ran Chow Bistro. And I was talking with him one night. Turns out he grew up in Korea in the late '90s. He did like the Korean StarCraft gaming scene thing, and he was a huge StarCraft fan. And there was no one in his bar, and he was showing like the Mariners on TV, and I was like, we should like show professional StarCraft. And he's like, if you want to try it, give it a go. So it took a couple weeks to figure out how to like get the TVs and stuff all set up.
Yeah.
It was complicated setup, but once we got it all figured out and figured out like how to get the stream working in the bar and get all the technical details worked out, I put a post on Reddit saying watch professional StarCraft in a bar, and I posted it on a Monday night for Wednesday night, and with just that much like pre-warning, we packed the bar, like standing room only. Like
Wow.
more than 100 people. People were like being turned away.
Oh my gosh.
Such an overwhelming success, and I was really blown away because I honestly didn't really think that many people in Seattle were into StarCraft, and they were, and the bar owner thought it was awesome, and he's like, dude, Wednesday nights and Sunday nights are my slowest nights. If you want to have those nights, you can do it. And so ever since then, I ran like 2 BarCrafts, one every Sunday night and one every Wednesday night, and just showed whatever the latest matches were.
So when was the first, like what was the day of the year, like do you remember? What month and what year?
March, April, May of last year, so May of 2011. And so really interesting, about 3 weeks after running these events, and this is like the next really big, like making BarCraft, because...
Hey, your mic's cutting out. Sorry.
Oh, all right. Can you still hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
So, well, what happened was the moderators of our Seattle on Reddit felt they needed to ban me from our Seattle. They did not like my postings about this event because they thought that I was a representative. They thought that I was part of the bar, and they had like this like anti-commercialization posting thing.
Oh wow.
But you can't post them because they're commercial events, and so they weren't commercial events, and so they straight up just banned me. And like all of this stuff like happened like at BarCraft. So I notice I'm banned from our Seattle. I'm sitting at a table. I'm expressing the frustration with like the guys there, and at that exact time was the first time I heard the term BarCraft. I don't know who coined it, and I've tried to figure it out. No one at the bar took credit for it. It was just like everybody just like knew the name BarCraft at the same time.
That's awesome.
This happened all at the same time. Like I get banned from our Seattle. I'm frustrated. I hear the word BarCraft, and I'm like, that's it. We're calling it BarCraft. And like right then, I made the subreddit our BarCraft, and ever since then, called the events BarCraft. And had a place where I wasn't going to get banned for posting.
Yeah.
Since then, our Seattle has banned me. They voted, and everyone got upset, and now I can post in our Seattle again. But like that planted the seed for something larger than just Seattle. Once it had that name, other people wanted to have similar events in their town. They were jealous. They're like, dude, this is awesome. Like, how do I have this in my town? And I'm like, you find a bar and you convince the owner to let you do it. And I gave a lot of people the incentive and kind of like ammo, showing them that we were successful at doing it and they could be successful at doing it. And then it just exploded.
Explosion, Baneling bomb.
Like the big boost was this guy named Prima Dog. Prima Dog was a kid that lived in Southern California. He lived in the San Diego area. He heard about BarCraft, and he'd been working with like the NASL, and he'd been helping them out behind the scenes. He heard about this idea, and he messages me, and he's like, "Dude, this is amazing. I'm going to try and set up as many BarCrafts NASL finals." And so he himself set up like 5 events in the LA area. He found 5 bars that would let him set it up, and he started promoting it all over the place. And he was the one that convinced In Control to give a shout out to BarCraft and the subreddit our BarCraft live in the NASL stream, and like that because like In Control talks about BarCraft. he mentions the subreddit r/BarCraft, and you could watch the counter of subscribed people go from like 4,000, like in minutes. It was just like, and ever since then, it's just exploded. I mean, there's BarCrafts all over the world now. There's BarCrafts in like Perth, Australia. You've got BarCrafts in Mexico.
New Zealand, yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere. It's awesome.
That's like absolutely remarkable. I mean, that's like the coolest thing that could possibly have happened, and that doesn't happen with anything. I mean, nothing spirals, and that just shows like how different the internet is, and how powerful like just the esports community is really unique, because we're creating this, and we're creating it from the community, and this is really a prime example of that. We're not creating this from, like, the corporate world is not creating this and then feeding it to us. It's really it's grassroots, and this is a good example.
I actually worked hard to try and keep it grassroots because I didn't want it to become corporatized. It's a light thing. I mean, using this as a marketing tool for a company is, I mean, it's incredibly valuable, but I wanted it to be a community-driven thing.
Right, and I think that's something that we should get into that now. The only thing is, is your mic? Can you like plug it in a little bit or something? It's doing something a little weird.
Is it just like a connection?
It's like in and out.
It's fading.
I can just volume on it. I don't know.
It's not a Nintendo cartridge, Fatima. It's not gonna fix it.
If I unplug it now, it's probably. Maybe I can turn up the gain on it or something to scratch. Let me try that.
Okay.
That's a little more gain. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
All right, good. Maybe the input volume was set a little too low.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if you don't mind, can we talk about kind of what exactly happened once, like, when was the period that Blizzard approached you, and how did all of that go down?
That was interesting. I mean, so once BarCraft really started like gaining steam and it started like progressing forward at an incredible rate, it really and once it kind of like came on like Blizzard's radar, they were incredibly interested in the concept. Obviously, you know, from this level down, the first inkling that I heard of it was I was doing BarCraft Twitter searches, and a financial analyst, for no reason, made a tweet like, Blizzard CEO extremely interested in BarCraft, and I'm like, what? Like where did? It was about the time that Blizzard started talking about BarCraft on their website and putting a TM behind it. That's when things started to get serious. That's when I saw how much Blizzard wanted BarCraft. And if you actually think about it from like a marketing point of view, like it's a huge win. I mean, you could not pay a company enough money to create something like BarCraft, right?
Yeah.
It just because it grew by itself. So they wanted it a lot, and I had some meetings early on with the executive staff at Blizzard, Rob Simpson and some others, and they were scary meetings. I mean, because the community was curious what Blizzard's intent was, and I was curious what Blizzard's intent was, and they weren't being clear about it. But it was in those really early meetings that I realized they felt BarCraft was theirs. They wanted to have BarCraft. I felt that BarCraft was more than just BarCraft. I felt that BarCraft was something that all of esports could use. I know like the word bar and Starcraft and BarCraft sound similar, and I mean obviously name for, you know, like StarCraft in a bar, but I felt it was larger than that, and I felt that it was something that wouldn't be as great if it was owned by Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
I expressed this in the early meetings, and they didn't see things my way at first. I expressed that this wasn't their idea, this wasn't their thing. They couldn't have it. This was something the community was going on in a couple days later, and at that point, she attempted to buy it from me or mentioned that they would be able to pay some money, but I didn't concept. I didn't want this to just be a Blizzard marketing. I didn't want, you know, I wanted it to be what it was, and I wanted, you know, anybody to be able to set up a BarCraft and have, you know, like it community owned. And after the third meeting with them, they recognized that it was a community thing and agreed to, you know, like let the community manage it. And I give them a lot of respect for making that recognition. At the same time, I attempt to protect the term for what it was. My business partner at the time and I decided to trademark the term, and this caused a lot of commotion in the industry. There was a lot of people spreading a lot of rumors about what our intents were with the trademark. As it turned out, the USPTO decided that BarCraft had become a term of common use and couldn't be trademarked, and I was extremely happy because that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to not be owned by any person.
Yeah.
And said, you can't own it, and I'm like, awesome.
Yay, thank you. Let's do one more thing with your mic. Do you have like auto gain like set up?
I do not have auto gain set up.
In Skype, if you go into Tools Options, Tools Options Audio Settings, if it's automatically adjusting your mic, you want to uncheck that.
We'll uncheck that. It's unchecked.
Ah.
It was unchecked?
I'm out of ideas.
Bang on the headset.
Yeah, like you're cutting out a lot.
Damn it.
I don't know why it's doing that.
I think I don't think we missed anything critical in the story, though.
No, we didn't. It's just kind of fading in and out.
just-
Like we're hearing everything. It's just like doing this weird little thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't doing that before when we were testing it.
No, it's fine at the beginning, and then like 5 minutes.
Why don't we hang up the call and start right back up? Cause
Okay.
Is that all right?
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna do
Sure.
that. I'm gonna hang up and call you right back.
Test 1, test 2, test 3.
All right, just
Sounds good.
get your video on.
Mhm.
Is that any better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
All right, maybe it's
oh.
I don't know.
It might be a USB timeout issue. I think these old Logitech headsets have had some issues in the past. So.
Time to upgrade. If I can get you a free headset from someone, I'm going to.
Headset.
You're the best.
Oscar first. Okay, so I think that's really cool. And just to recap for everyone in the stream, basically, you know, Blizzard wanted to trademark it. It got real serious. Then they said, all right, we're not going to trademark it, which was really, really cool, Blizzard. And then you and your partner had kind of like thought about doing it, but because it had gotten so globally used, it just ended up saying you couldn't, which is good because you didn't really want to do it in the first place. So, like, you said that there was some drama. I mean, what exactly was going on?
Oh, where? What do you mean? What drama? There's always drama in esports, you know that.
Yeah, that's true. But like, was there anything kind of like insincere going on to try to harness this because of the fact that this was something that had grown so exponentially? I mean, was there anything going on that you were aware of that like kind of made you nervous?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Blizzard focused their gaze at BarCraft as something that they wanted, yeah, I mean, I was scared. I mean, Blizzard's huge, right? I mean, they're like
Yeah.
They
Goliath,
get what they
right?
want.
Yeah.
You don't mess with Blizzard. And you don't mess with any company's legal team at that scale, right? I mean, you don't
Diablo
Yeah.
came.
win those battles. Um, so yeah, sure, I was nervous for myself and for the community.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So tell me who. All right. So how aware were you of the other BarCrafts that were forming? I mean, who were the first groups, and what countries and states were they from that you first heard of?
Um, Portland was definitely one of the first. Um, the the people that are primarily part of ONAG now, One Nation of Gamers on the East Coast. The stuff set up by Hannah and Derek. Those ones were definitely part of the first, and then a group of ones that Prima Dog had set up for the NASL. So the NASL finals was like the first like large tournament event that a lot of um, BarCraft set up for. There was also one in San Francisco at Mad Dog in the Fog. That's the one where the reporter from the Wall Street Journal came in, saw it, thought it was awesome, and then wrote that article that ended up on the front page of the Wall Street Journal with a big picture of a Dark Templar on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It was hilarious.
That's awesome. So okay. So how about I'm trying to think. What about um, what about like MLG and a lot of these events? Did any of them like get in touch with you, or did they reach out to the BarCraft community specifically? Because I know that you watched a lot of those tournaments and they would do shout outs and stuff. But I mean, did you have any other interaction with any of these groups for that?
Not really. Like, I mean, in a large sense, you really have to like toot your own horn to like get noticed. I I've never really been one for like that kind of like Uber promotion. I mean, I really just wanted to simply sit in a bar with my friends and watch StarCraft. And so I don't really do good at the whole like like messaging, like MLG, hey, like do a Seattle BarCraft shout out, give us free stuff. Other BarCrafts do. There are other BarCrafts that are like super organized in and interested in like presenting themselves that way, and like good for them. But that wasn't the BarCraft that I wanted to run.
Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. Um, So, how about like tell me some of the most memorable events at the Seattle BarCraft? Like, tell me about some cool things that happened there.
So probably one of the coolest things happened early on, and that was it was exactly 1 year ago. It was on PAX weekend. It had lined up directly with an MLG weekend. So I set up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday BarCrafts noon till close.
Mhm.
So we watched like every single minute of MLG coverage like all weekend long. I actually like worked from the bar that day with my laptop, so I didn't have to take the day off of work. And another nice thing about working in virtual worlds, you can work anywhere. And every single night, and I attempted to present it to the PAX community as kind of like a PAX after party kind of place. And every single night, I mean, it was packed, and that was cool because I mean there were a lot of people there, and there were a lot of celebrities, especially on like Sunday afternoon. Like the thing that like freaked me out the most was probably when Ash from Hey Ash, What You Playing, like
Mhm.
just like walked in, and I just lost it.
Holding on
She's
the
like,
E button.
what the? It just like it was just weird, like having all these like celebrities just in
Why you
there.
hold it down?
DJ Wheat like hung out until like 1 or 2 every single morning playing games with people. I mean, it was just awesome. It was just like it was summer in Seattle, so it was like warm. People were hanging out outside.
Mhm.
And it was just like a packed bar full of like geeks and gamer fans just sitting around playing games and having fun. It was a really really good time.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Mm.
Oh, down a little.
I have a question.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I saw that menu,
Yeah.
and that menu is just full of StarCraft puns. Who came up with that? Was that you, or was that a group, or?
So a lot of the drink stuff were ideas that grew from these LAN parties that I used to have. The original menu. So once I saw that things were kind of like taking off, and these were like regular events. I sat down in an afternoon with Hyung Chung, the owner of Chow Bistro, and he and I brainstormed the entire thing. You know, we just like sat there. We took his existing menu and we looked at it, and we figured out like what things on there he would want to like offer as a special and things. So basically took the existing menu and pulled off things into a sub menu, and then we just sat there and we're like, all right, so like fried chicken. Well, obviously we'll just call it fried zergling, right? So and then it was just so he and I just kind of like sat there and brainstormed ideas, and then every menu iteration after that was always from the people in BarCraft. I would sit down and somebody would like say, well, like, hey, you should make something like this that's called this, and I'm like, that's a great idea, and I would write it down. So it was the first one was Hyung and myself, and all the rest of them were just community driven. And the chefs would even get in on it. They weren't gamers. They didn't play Starcraft, but like they would like create like some new thing, and they're like, dude, try this food. What do you put it on your menu? What do you want to call it? And I was like, and it was just cool. Everybody kind of got in and worked on it together.
So let's actually talk about a couple of those. The first one that I want to talk about is tell me what a pylon is. Tell me the pylon drink.
Well, what was the pylon? The pylon was that was just like an energy drink, right? Yeah, it's like a
Vodka and Red Bull.
Vodka
and Red Bull vodka, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that was that one just kind of like made sense. It's kind of like like yellow and glowing.
Energy
and stuff.
pylon.
Yeah, energy pylons. Like it. It's, a lot of the stuff. If you put yourself in the right mindset, they just kind of write themselves.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, if you have a pylon, you gotta have like a proxy.
That was my favorite one to order.
And it was so funny because like the bartenders would really get in on it. I'm like, all right, so like I would give them the menu and I'd give them a cheat sheet. I'm like, so when somebody orders a proxy pylon, you have to hide it. And they're like, what do you mean hide it? I'm like, just put it somewhere in the bar, put it at a different table, put it anywhere. And they're like, really? Are you serious? I'm like, they wouldn't order it unless they knew what it was. And there was like these meta jokes and about it. It was.
Oh my god. It was amazing. Like, I got really drunk the night I was there because I had to have, like, every drink.
You didn't eat anything. That was your problem.
I didn't eat anything either. I just drank and drank. What was the other one that was really...
GG.
Huh? Oh, yeah, the Idra GG. I ordered that.
I was surprised at the number of people who ordered that. It was, obviously, Idra's an easy target. Like everybody pokes fun at Idra. And I wanted to put him on the menu too. And this was right about I think when we added that was right about the time when he there was like that whole like hallucinated army,
Void race.
and and he just dropped, and then he got all upset and threw his keyboard or something. And so so in Idra GG it means nothing, so it's an empty shot glass, right? So it was just funny, and people would order it. They would pay $1 to have an empty shot glass put on their table.
Yeah, I did it. I was excited. Okay, so let's talk about the fungal growth shot, because I took multiple of those, and I want to know exactly how to build it, and I want to know what's in it, because Tima's writing this down.
Are we going to make them on Saturday?
We're going to make them on Saturday, in your honor.
So there you go. There's a link if you want to like show people on the stream, whatever.
Oh, nice.
So we call it fungal growth.
Wow.
It's it just looks. See, Zerg drinks and food stuff is so easy to make because it just makes sense. It's really hard to like come up with like Protoss food. It was really difficult.
It's always just the glassware, I think, for Protoss.
So this is called alien brain hemorrhage, and what it is, that's what it's officially called, I guess. So you take a shot glass, and you fill it halfway up with peach schnapps.
Osh, monkeys!
Yes, peach schnapps. And the other half, and then you float Baileys on top of that. And it takes some practice, you know, to get it to like...
We're
to balance
artists!
out. Yeah, well, yeah. So you get it to balance out, and so you got like perfectly clear peach schnapps, and then you like the creamy Baileys on the top. And just when it's like almost full, you put like a small amount of blue curacao and let it settle. And it'll actually settle like right underneath like the layer of Baileys. And once that's all settled, you take grenadine, yeah, and you like drop it, right? So you gotta get one of those like little like
Funnel thing.
or spout, like dropper things. And as it drops, it's heaviest, so it actually falls all the way through and pulls like little pieces of like the Baileys down into the bottom. And everyone's different, and they're awesome. And it tastes like a peach creamsicle, which is absolutely delicious.
It is delicious, although I had a bad one. Yeah, well, we had multiple ones when I was there. I forget how many we took. It had to have been 2 or 3.
Yeah, that never actually made it onto like the official menu. That was like a hidden menu.
Yeah.
I
I was so excited that you shared this hidden item with me that I had to have more than one. I was like, I must have multiple fungal
And
growth.
share it with other people!
Yeah,
That's a true thought.
yeah, it was so
That
cool.
looks amazing.
I have a picture of the one that we took before I took it, but
Yeah.
You do?
yeah, it's on my
Why
phone.
don't I have a picture of
I
that?
don't know. I don't even know how I remembered to take it.
Yeah, the girls that worked at Chow Bistro were really, they had a lot of fun. They loved coming up with new drinks, and they loved like making these new drinks, and they loved like interacting with the Starcraft gamer nerd BarCraft crowd. They really got a kick out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, speaking of which, the pack's starting tomorrow. There should be a BarCraft, I don't know what day specifically, if not all 3 days, at Spitfire.
Yeah, there is.
Have you been talking to any of those guys about StarCraft at all? Are you still like in contact with those people, or?
Oh, it's all the same people that went to the BarCraft events that I hosted. So those
Well, I
ones
mean,
are actually ran.
who do you know who's in charge of it? What his name
His
is?
name's Wilson.
Wilson?
Matt Wilson, Wolfgang Wilson, something like that.
Okay.
He has different nicknames. It was the guy who was my business partner last year. So he sets those up now.
That's cool. Have you been to any of them, or are you planning on going to any? Or
I have not been to any of them. They've only had about 2 or 3 now. They're gonna have a busy weekend.
Bomber is supposed to be at the Red Bull LAN event.
yeah, well, there's
he's
a lot of them that are
actually-
going to be at the
he's
Red Bull
actually-
LAN event.
Bomber's actually doing 1v1s against anyone at
2 hours.
Spitfire Craft.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Free Red Bulls, anyone who wins?
No, like at the bar.
Yeah.
So they've got or so I heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Seriously, this Red Bull LAN event sounds like it's going to be totally awesome. They're doing it kind of cool because the fans can alter the map while the game's going on.
Psystorm the entire thing.
So that did you watch the? It was last December. It was the Battle of the Bronze. The BarCraft. I mean the event for charity. Yeah, Battle of the Bronze. Is that what it was called?
I didn't catch that.
It was a charity event, and it was the second year this guy has run it, and it's a full Bronze League tournament. You have to be bronze to play and compete in it. It was casted by In Control, and the whole thing was just a charity event. And we streamed it live to the BarCraft at Seattle, and I actually competed in it since I am bronze. He actually gave me like a test. He like played me in a couple 1v1 matches. He's like, "Yeah, dude, you're gonna do fine." And one of the matches that they had was the ability for In Control to he basically had God mode control over the entire map. and it was like a micro macro match, so it was 2v2s, and so my partner could only build units and I could only fight with the units.
Oh, it's kind of fun.
Right. And it was like so much fun, and we were actually doing like really good. We had, you know, we were Zerg and they were Protoss, but like In Control just kept like messing with the map, right? Like we finally take like a fairly aggressive like 4th, and he just like deleted all the minerals from it, and like at one point in time he clicked on all the queens and just made them explode. And
What?
Like, see, the thing was, like, they didn't tell us they were doing that. And, like, the dude's messaging me, like, my partner, and he's like, where's all my queens? He's like, they're gone. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, your queens, that's, like, you know, like, build more. And he's like, okay. And they just kept doing this stuff, and the game lasted, like, 45 minutes, right? It was just like, oh, my God. It was just, like, so long. And finally people on Reddit were like, stop messing with them. Let them win.
That's so awesome. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So it's a fun concept, though.
Yeah.
Being able to by the map like that.
Yeah, most definitely. So what about, like, what's your favorite tournament to watch? Are you still, like, kind of watching StarCraft, or what are you still interested in watching?
Ever since Chow closed, I've taken this as an opportunity to kind of relax from esports. I mean, I was really aggressively like involved. I mean, running like 2 BarCrafts a week for more than a year. I mean, each BarCraft event, you know, like takes like setup time, and it runs generally from, you know, like 6 till midnight. So that's like, you know, like 6 hours where I'm just like sitting in the bar twice a week. It's just like a lot of extra time. So I actually haven't watched a single tournament this summer.
That's understandable. That's an understandable hiatus. I didn't realize that's a really long time. So you were holding down a full-time job and doing that?
Yeah.
That's amazing, because all the prep work to get ready and everything. I mean, that's just remarkable that you did that for the community. And I think, I mean, people are so grateful. I mean, I was looking on teamliquid.net today, and it's so cool. The BarCraft page, like BarCraft has its own tab, and you can like look up and, you know, what BarCrafts are in your area, and it's just really so well organized now. It's so well organized between Team Liquid and Reddit and like the websites that people have developed and the Facebook groups. It's just so cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless about it.
I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, it's grown so much larger than I ever thought. You know, I mean, I didn't actually set out to do this. I just wanted to sit in a bar and watch StarCraft. That's all I wanted to do. So the fact that it's like grown into this is cool and weird at the same time.
Well, you know what's so funny about it is that, you know, when you think of a video gamer, you technically think of like an introvert. You think of people that, you know, don't necessarily want to like be out and like socializing a lot, and that's the stereotype. But in reality, I go back to Day9's mantra all the time, because in reality, all of the people that are in their like early 20s to like 30s, all these people grew up playing video games, and now they have real jobs, and now they have disposable income, and here comes esports, and it you know, here comes kind of the accessibility of all of this over the internet, and it's getting big. It's getting really big, and it's only going to grow more, and it's just, the whole thing is kind of, I mean, it gives you nerd chills, you know what I mean? Because
well, I mean, it's the BarCraft thing was, so running the events that I did, I noticed a lot of, you know, trends, watching people. I like watching people, and just seeing how people interact, and having an environment like BarCraft where people who don't normally interact socially in groups can interact socially in groups and feel comfortable about it. There's a lot of people who had never hung out in a bar before, but felt comfortable hanging out in a BarCraft because the entire place was full of people just like them.
Right.
A lot of people that came to BarCraft, I mean, these are people that work in the industry in Seattle, work in the software industry, which includes like Amazon and Microsoft and
Boeing.
Google and Adobe, Boeing. And these people actually had like a place where they could like come and hang out in public, which is kind of hard in Seattle. I mean, there's not a lot of like pro nerd, pro geek type environments.
Yeah.
So it created like this vibe inside of Chow Bistro that was like incredibly unique. I've never felt like that type of like a nerd vibe in public before, outside of a specific convention or something. So
Yeah, I
it
can
was
definitely
unique.
say I felt. I mean, when we were there, I thought it was definitely unique. Reminded me a lot of college. 'Cause my college, I went to a nerd school, so I appreciated it a lot.
Of course you did.
Of course. So that's really cool. So let's talk. We'll come back to BarCraft because I have a feeling I'm going to come up with a ton more questions. Let's talk about what you do for a living and what are your hobbies. Like, what are you doing with your free time? You've got 12 more hours on top of all the hours you were planning and posting on Reddit. What are you doing?
Okay, so, I mean, like my day job, like I said, I work for Second Life. I'm a lead QA engineer on the server side, so pretty much everything that runs what Second Life is what I help make sure there aren't bugs in. And it is a very, very complicated process. Our software development life cycle is very, very fast. We release 4 new versions of server per week, which is fairly ridiculous if you think about that. It takes a lot of work and coordination, and so that's my day job. And I enjoy it. I like being able to tell people I work for Second Life, and just the idea of that. I like concepts of. I like science fiction concepts of posthumanism, like what happens after like human physical bodies don't exist anymore. Ideas of the convergence, like what happens, like I don't know. I like ideas of that, and I think Second Life does a really good job of creating an environment where we can see now where things in the future might be, even if people just think Second Life is for sex and ponies, but it's actually a lot more than that. It's a fairly fantastic environment. If you're a modern day like anthropologist, like if you're like going to school for anthropology and you're not like sitting in Second Life doing research, you're a fool, because like you can get so much information by watching like cultures like grow and change at like an amazing rate. It's a pretty fascinating environment. Hobbies, my avocations. I like making things. I can't stop building things. I have to use my hands. I like bonsai. I have a garden in the backyard. I like to grow and make little trees. Somewhat fascinating.
They are really cool.
Broccoli.
I really do. I love bonsai, and that's a lot of fun. I love working with metal, steel, aluminum, copper, bronze. I love welding. I've got a small-ish kind of like machine shop at home. I've got like a mill and a lathe, and I can take like a block of aluminum and I can like make it into something. And that offers me a lot of.
You have a drill press?
Well, the mill basically acts as a drill press. I don't have a specific drill press, but I've modified my mill to be able to take standard drill chucks.
Oh, that's cool.
I can drill holes. I like cars. I like motorcycles. So I've got a project car at home that I'm working on. It's a 1928 Chevrolet Rat Rod.
Whoa!
It's awesome. It's about 2 feet off the ground, like total. There's like nothing on the car that's like higher than 3 feet, except for like the shifter, like way up here. It just has like these massive like fat rear tires on it.
Wow.
Huge. The thing weighs like less than 1,000 pounds, and it has like massive V8 engine in it. It's like when I'm like in it and like I hit the accelerator, like you can't steer anymore because the front wheels are off the ground.
Oh my gosh!
It's a lot of fun. So I like things like that. But
That's really cool. So your motorcycle, like, what do you do with that? Do you mod it a lot, or what do you do?
I do. I currently have and drive a 1965 Harley Davidson Ironhead chopper, and this thing is like long and stretched and low and fast, and I didn't do any of the original work, like chopping it into the creation that it was. But I don't know, I look at this thing as like a piece of art. This thing is just so fantastically put together. It's just beautiful. I look at myself kind of like a curator of this piece of art or something, and so when things break on it, I try and put it back in a way that the original creator would have done, and try and keep things, just try and keep this like moving piece of art running. It's a chore because like those old Harleys, like they vibrate like you wouldn't believe, and like if you're going down the road, they just throw parts off left and right. You actually have to like glue down every single screw because they'll just toss pieces.
Because of the vibration.
Well, so yeah, the Harley engines are known for vibrating. It's you know, like the V-twin engine doesn't self-stabilize itself, so it has like a lot of vibration. And to do a chopper correct, you have to have the V-twin engine rigidly mounted to the frame, so that means every single vibration in the engine transfers into the frame.
Right, you don't have any kind of shock isolation or anything like that.
It's not. So like the modern ones actually like isolated in line, so the engine itself can actually like vibrate in line, and so you don't even feel most of it. Beal does that, and Beal has amazing V-twin bikes. And the other thing that a chopper has is it has no rear suspension, so every single bump on the road is transferred like right into you.
Right.
So
that's got to feel great after like 20 minutes.
No, it doesn't. You really get beat up. And I mean, the bike doesn't have front brakes because you can't really put front brakes in something that has such a long front end, because it would make the front end slide out if you actually punch the brakes. So it only has a rear brake, and it's the stock rear brakes, which are drum brakes, which you know don't stop anything.
Oh gosh.
And it's mechanically linked, so it's not even a hydraulic rear drum brake. Yeah, and so the pedal is so low to the ground that if you hit the brakes, and it's a pedal brake on the left, if you hit it and then take a left turn, the pedal touches the ground and actually pushes the pedal off of the ground, so if you need to like really stop at a left turn, you can't.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So
don't take left turns, problem solved.
It's art though, it's art. It's actually primary transportation.
So for all these pieces that are flying off of your Harley, I mean, do you do all the machining of any kind of repairs? Do you mostly do it in your shop as much as possible?
Yeah, I made the mistake once of bringing a bike to a dealer to be fixed, and they broke it. And so I realized then that I can break things for much cheaper.
Yeah.
I actually had to pay them to break my motorcycle, and that was a really frustrating experience. So right now, I got home the other day, and there was no license plate on my bike anymore. There was like this big jagged metal tear where the bike had actually decided it didn't want the license plate anymore, so it just threw it off of the bike. And so I had to like fab a new bracket, I had to weld it on, I had to take all the paint off, I had to just do all of this work, and so you gotta do it all yourself. So.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, that's really cool. And you're enjoying living in Seattle? Have you lived there your whole life? Or the area?
I've lived everywhere. I was born in Michigan, lived in Arizona, lived in Georgia. I've mostly lived in Seattle my adult life, and I've thought about moving other places, tried other places, but Seattle's home. I always just come back to Seattle. Seattle will get dark and gray during the winter months, but Seattle's like the perfect city for mediocrity. It's never too hot, and it's never too cold. It's always just right. Like even in the winter, like rarely gets down to freezing. I know, it's exactly what it is. It's like the perfect porridge city. And so I live about 15 minutes north of Seattle, small little town. I own a house. My brothers and I bought this house together. The house is next to my parents' house. We have this family compound thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
You live here, you live here.
Yeah, if I don't want to make dinner, I can just go over to my mom's house, and she always has dinner ready. It's just,
oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
and she picked a ton of basil yesterday.
Oh, I gotta get you that. I gotta get you a pesto recipe.
Yeah.
It does look like you're drinking beer.
I know. Maybe this is canned water. I'm drinking canned water.
It just looks like canned beer.
It's kind of weird. But yeah, so I'll send you that recipe. But so let's talk a teeny bit more about BarCraft. So
Sure.
could you see yourself ever going back to working on them or anything?
I like helping other people set up BarCrafts. It is a lot of work, and setting up and running your own events. I really want to step back and let the community take BarCraft and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun with it for a year, and I also had a lot of frustrations. I mean, last year was really difficult. When BarCraft started getting big, everybody wanted a part of it, right? And like every single time somebody took a part of it, it felt like they were taking a part of me, right? And in taking it, and everyone had a different idea about BarCraft and what they wanted to do. And there was a time last fall when I attempted to organize this core group of BarCraft organizers, like the BarCraft originals. I attempted to organize them into
Council of BarCraft.
something like that, and it went so horribly wrong.
Too much organization.
It was a really difficult time, and there were a lot of people who, especially with like the trademarking and like all this stuff like going around, there were a lot of like rumors that like I was gonna start like closing down BarCrafts and like doing all this stuff, and it's just like way too much drama, and I don't like drama in my life. And,
yeah, you're very not
much,
dramatic at all, so.
As much as I like esports, there is a lot of what I feel is unnecessary drama that just permeates.
Yeah.
Especially when you add like the internet into it, which you have to, because
that's
it's
true.
thing. And so, yeah, exactly. Like the things people say about me on Reddit, and like comments, and like it just goes back and forth. And after a while, it's just you just kind of get tired of it.
How'd you deal with that, by the way? I mean, like, with comments and things like that. Did it ever get to you, or did you just kind of know from the beginning that you didn't want to deal with it?
No, of course it gets to me. Like I don't, I don't like seeing stuff, like that's not true written or spread about me. I mean, like it. Yeah, of course it affects me. I mean, it was especially like as as like these things are happening, as like Seattle moves into like the dark months, like the winter months and things like that. It can be really depressing, and I just try to like handle it in like a positive way, and just like enforce positively like what you're trying to do, like what exactly like your role in BarCraft was, and like even on the Reddit page for this event, some guy was like, how can you call yourself the founder of BarCraft? Like, like you didn't come up with the idea of watching sports in a bar. And no, I didn't, but like what I did was very specific, and there actually were, I didn't know about it, but there were other events where people had set up things to like watch, like BarCraft or watch Starcraft in public establishments. But I think what I did was gave people a banner to like run behind, right? Once it had a name and an emotion, I didn't want this to be just in Seattle. I wanted this to be everywhere, right? I wanted to be able to go into any city in the world and be able to find a place that has esports in a bar. And so, I mean, eventually, so I mean, what do you call it when you go to a bar to watch soccer? What do you call it when you go to a bar to watch baseball?
Going to a
bar?
You don't call it anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no name for it.
Going to a bar with TV.
Yeah, I see the term BarCraft eventually going away. I mean, I see an eventual stage in esports evolution where it's ubiquitous. You go to a bar and you can watch it. You don't have to go to a special event that was just set up for you. So I even see like the term BarCraft being somewhat transitory and eventually going away.
That's a really, really good point, and I think I definitely want to see that. I want to see that transition. I don't know if we're going to see it for 10, 15, 20 years, but I want to see it.
So, from my opinion, I think the biggest thing holding it back right now is that there are no esports on cable TV. There are not a lot of bars that are very easily equipped to be able to show internet streams, and that's the biggest problem that BarCraft organizers have, because you have to find a bar that has TVs. Not all of them do. Mostly it's just sports bars. So number one, you have to like find a bar that has TVs, and I mean the TVs have to be digitally accessible via a computer, right?
Right,
so you
right.
have to actually have an easy way of plugging your computers into it to
Right.
show the computer screen, and then you have to have an internet connection that's capable of getting, you know, at least an HD stream down, right? You know, sometimes we may do with less than that, but if it's not HD, you can't, you know, like read, you know, like the food and minerals and stuff.
Yeah,
all the
you're
time.
like
You never know what's going on.
I don't know.
So but every single bar that has TVs has cable access, right?
Right.
Every single bar. And every single bar owner in the world knows how to change channels. But not every single one of them knows how to like log into Twitch or something like that, right? And every single like bartender or bartenders in the world can change to like an esports channel if it was on cable TV. Once that happens, any bar can do it, not just special bars. And until you get that, it's going to be really hard.
You know, that's an excellent point, because we were talking about this weekend, I forget who it was with, but we were talking about, like, do esports need to go onto cable? And that is the biggest reason why it needs to go onto cable. I know that sounds crazy, but, like, everything else, like, you know, the MLG events, IPL, all these events, they get tons of people that watch them online because they watch them from their homes or whatever. But if we want to actually grow it even more and make it accessible to everyone, it's got to go on TV. Even though TV is kind of, cable TV is one of these things where it could stay, it could go, you know, it's kind of flaky in the next, like, 20 years. Who knows if it's going to be here. But in the near term, in order to make that next step to really make it into the mainstream, it's got to be something where you can just change the channel to it.
Yeah, there's a large amount of technical expertise that it takes to set up a BarCraft, and it may not seem that way because like all of us grew up in the internet generation. We know how to use computers. We know how to do that. But interfacing them with like TVs, I mean, you have to know what you're doing. You know, you have to know how to do it and how to set it up, and not to belittle like the average bar staff. But the average bar staff, that's not what they do unless they come from an area like that. So the average bar owner probably doesn't know how to like set up an internet stream. They wouldn't know what to do if the connection like stops or drops and stuff like that. So there's a lot of technical expertise that goes into setting something like this up that could be like completely done away with if they could just like change to channel 64.
Right, right. That's really cool, and I hadn't even thought about that. Like that's awesome. Like that's huge, because seriously, this weekend I was like, why would you have it on cable? Like what would be the benefit? And you just,
I think that would actually be like one of the only benefits, really, because then you lose the chat room, you lose like being on the computer with a headset on, talking to people through Skype, that whatever chat room you're in.
But you're gaining.
No, I mean the benefit would be going to a public place that could access it. Otherwise, TV.
I think the balance here is to take like a pay-per-view approach, where, I mean, you could go to a bar because you want to watch the fight, or you want to watch the, you know, and well, that's why I go to bars. But I think that's a good balance, because I don't necessarily, well, I don't know, but my assumption is that the amount of advertising dollars coming in from a TV show aren't going to be really what a big network is going to expect. And but I definitely agree with the whole, if you just have it on TV, BarCraft would be a lot easier, and that is a pretty cool.
I like your pay-view, whatever it's called, pay-per-view.
The pay-per-view model, the UFC model. I mean that is a place that esports will eventually be. I mean, it just has to. I mean, I mean, UFC has done really well for themselves with that model. It's actually, I mean, but there's side effects, right? I mean, the side effect is every single time I want to go to a bar to watch UFC, I have to pay, right? Because like it is not cheap to do that. I mean, so depending on like the size of your bar, I mean, it's multiple thousands of dollars that they have to pay just to watch it. I mean, and so if you go to a bar that's like busy enough and packed enough, they have to charge. They can't make the money to pay for that stream unless they actually like charge admission.
Yeah.
And that's really something I never wanted to do with BarCraft. I never wanted to actually charge admission. Some of the other ones do. I mean, some of the other BarCrafts have set up like these like amazing things, right? Like is it like the Toronto BarCrafts that have like 1,000 people? There's like flamethrowers and like, girls dancing and stuff like that. This whole like rockstar environment, which is amazing. I didn't want my BarCrafts to be like that, but they could actually like construct these massive events was awesome. But that stuff takes money. I mean, that stuff girls don't dance for free. So you gotta charge these people admission to get in. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I really kind of want to check out the Toronto BarCraft because it sounds awesome. I think I love like these ideas where there's people together watching StarCraft. Like it's just the coolest thing. Like when we were at MLG this past weekend, that was my first major event, like StarCraft or video game related event, and I had so much fun. And it wasn't very packed, but just the idea and the fact that there were so many people there doing the same exact thing that I want to talk about every day. Like, I come into work every day and I'm like, I want to talk about StarCraft. No one wants to talk about StarCraft at my work. Literally. So I literally, like, got to this point where I couldn't handle how much I needed to, like, vent the thing that I was interested in. And I was just kind of like, yeah, Timo, let's make a stream.
I was so excited when you guys, like, started your stream.
Because you put the one star.
Like a week after I had met you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited. Like you girls came. You were smart. You're all like engineers, and you're into StarCraft, and you're hanging out in my BarCraft. And I'm like, this is awesome. And then you set up this stream, and how many people do you have on it right now?
We only have about 15 live, but we get lower viewership generally during like our talks. But then we post on YouTube, we get views on there. Normally people watch this as a VOD. So what we'll do is once we're done with this, we'll put it on YouTube. We'll put it through like on our channel. We'll put it on Facebook. We'll do all that kind of stuff. So it'll get a lot of views after the fact. But, yeah, I mean, right now we have 231 subscribers.
Awesome.
And we've got almost 12,000 views. So, it was literally like 6,000 before we went to MLG, so it's gone up there a little bit, which is pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, like, we started it, like, I really think that BarCraft was the catalyst that when we came to your BarCraft, because it just really, it inspired me to actually go out there and start doing stuff to help the community, because I mean you're an inspiration for anyone that wants to go ahead and like be passionate about what they want to do, regardless of whether or not it's StarCraft or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like Day9 said in his classic video, it's like, stop asking permission.
Yeah.
Just do it. And that's something that surprises me a lot, because a lot of people would. I got messaged a lot, and people would be like, "Dude, it really sucks. I wish there was a BarCraft in my town." And I'm like, "Well, do it.
Make
like,
one,
set it up." And then they're like, "I don't really want to." And it's like, well, then you're not gonna have a BarCraft in your town.
You know, it's too bad. Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I didn't ask permission. I just found a bar that thought it was a good idea and they let me do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny, the first venue I tried to, like, get my esports rah-rah out with was I started looking into possibly doing a BarCraft around where I live here in the Hampton Roads area. And I started looking at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is, like, crazy a lot of work. And I was like, I don't have the network around here because I don't really know anyone, I'm not from here. So that's why I was like, well, all right, we'll do a stream, and then like literally, I literally want to try to do a BarCraft. Probably like 6 months from now, I might try to set one up, because now that I've got kind of a network going, at least online, I can get the word out there and people will actually like possibly listen to me.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Like I was surprised that there were as many people in the area that were into StarCraft as I was. Granted, Seattle is definitely a nerd city and a gamer city.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many people are around there.
Yeah.
Especially if you find a place like close to a university.
Mhm.
That's like a win.
Yeah.
That's my middle name.
Yes, it is.
What?
That's her middle name. Her middle name is Win. Like literally.
Awesome.
I know. Can you just
W-I-N.
Every time-
It's just W-I-N.
Yeah. I mean, like,
My dad's a gamer.
did that just like blow your mind a little bit?
It kind of did.
Yeah. It blows my mind every time we mention it. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so many things you could do with that. Like,
FTW, team of the win.
yeah.
For the win!
Exactly,
Wow.
for the win. You gotta get your boyfriend to start saying that. This is for the win. These flowers are for the win. I hope when you get proposed to, that's what happens.
I hope not.
This ring is for the win.
FTW.
Yeah, it's got like subscribed in the middle, like for the win in like cursive FTW. I think that's gotta happen. Boyfriend, if you're listening.
That would be slightly more romantic than that.
That's so romantic. If anyone did that for me and my middle name was Win, I'd be like, done. Let's
Don't
go.
care, you don't even
Let's
like
do
the
this.
things.
Unfortunately, I have a very traditional, like, European blah name. So, anyway, sorry, I just digressed. Huh?
Were we gonna play some games?
Yes.
Yeah,
Do you want to
we
play
should play
some
some
games?
games.
Oh, I got paid
Love to play some games.
Tima just got paid.
for making artwork.
Congratulations. That's cool. Do you have like an Etsy store set up or something?
No, I made someone a custom overlay for League of Legends.
Oh, cool.
So here's my question. Do you need to? Let's end the stream and then we'll talk. So, everyone, thank you.
No, questions from the
Oh,
chat.
right.
Questions from the chat.
There might be some questions from the chat. If anyone has any questions from the chat, we're gonna give you like 2 minutes to like
Go.
get them out.
Think of them.
2 minutes. Anyone? Someone had said they had a
Yeah.
question before. Okay, wait, they're coming.
Not for
no,
us!
not for us. For Oskar. You don't even want to know. Trolls.
Yeah, sure.
Oscar, what's your cup size?
Medium?
Yes! I give you a thumbs up for that.
Grande?
That was awesome. Oh, what is going on? Stop calling me.
Could you hit
Is us... I have to read it to myself before I read out loud because I don't... Is it,
PAX is tonight? I
Yes.
thought it was like tomorrow.
PAX starts tomorrow.
But
there
you're-
are
Oh, okay.
Are you going
okay,
to a party tonight?
I'm going to a pre-party tonight. I am.
Nice.
Yep, Avery's party. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
He actually has a stream. He has a stream of his party, so you can actually like watch. You can watch.
I mean,
people,
direct people are channel.
Whoa, really?
You can watch people pre-partying.
I kind of want to do that.
There you go. There's the. It's. I think it's on. I think it's on Twitch too.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check it
Yeah,
out.
So Avery is a project manager for PopCap Games. PopCap Games
Okay.
is also
Nice.
local.
Oh.
And
I have Bejeweled on my little iPod. From
Avery's
Pop.
awesome. He's a huge force in the gamer community,
Mhm.
and he sets up these like pre-PAX parties for people just to kind of like chill out ahead of time. So, and he lived like a block away from BarCraft, so he used to like come in and hang out with us in there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check out his party.
Alright, do you have any suggestions for someone that might be under 18 or 18 plus, but not quite 21? Or is that just unfortunate until, they have to wait?
Or is there any way they can get involved now?
Chow, if they can set up their own BarCraft at places that are all ages, then that's a bonus. So, I mean, Chow Bistro was all ages. It was a unique environment. It wasn't a full bar. It was like a bar bistro. So
Mhm.
they had restaurant section, and then like the only thing was you couldn't well, you couldn't order alcohol or sit at the bar if you were under 21, but you could definitely be in there. So there is a market for underage BarCraft. I mean, I like the connection of, you know, like bars and drinking and stuff now that I'm old enough for that with Starcraft. But I know that there's like a huge market for people that are not old enough, but they still want to like have the same environment. It's a market opportunity for somebody to set up a BarCraft event at an all ages establishment.
Yeah.
People will.
Oh, definitely. Another question was, and I know we touched on this, but is there anything very specific that you would say for the setup of BarCraft? What's kind of the biggest barrier to success?
Here's the one.
The biggest barrier to success is just not trying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like hundreds of examples. I mean, literally hundreds of people around the world have been able to convince a bar to let them show professional esports and call it BarCraft. So there's a lot of success cases. But some of these people went to like 40 or 50 bars before and were laughed out of all of them before they found that one bar that was like, yeah, cool, go for it.
And there's content now that to help people out. I noticed that. I did some searching, which is really cool. Just the community's so cool. I just want every single and anyone that's watching this in the VODs or whatever, get in touch with us if you want to come on to the stream, if you want to talk about your BarCraft, because we love BarCraft. And
yeah, so shout out to Spitfire that will be hosting the BarCraft this weekend in Seattle for PAX.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's pretty interesting though, that the biggest challenge is just not committing yourself to doing it. Or, you know, I mean,
people beat themselves. I mean, they lose in their mind before they even start.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, there's going to be a BarCraft this weekend. I don't know if it's just tomorrow or the next day. I'm assuming it's going to be a couple nights because of PAX, but it's going to be at the Spitfire. Yeah, every night at Spitfire. I've never been there, so I'm not sure where that's at, but there's a lot of information that you can find online.
Spitfire is in Belltown. So,
oh, that's like right there.
Spitfire Seattle. What's that?
Oh, there's someone in chat talking about it. So.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah, Belltown.
Yeah. So okay, so I think that's it for questions. So I think we should play some games, and what we should do is end this right now, and then we'll chat a little bit more because I know that you might have to move your car or something.
It's fine. At this point in time, there's a Seahawks game right now. There's no way I'm going to find a new parking spot.
Oh, gotcha.
It's impossible.
Oh boy. All right. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and
thank you so much for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really has, and we really appreciate it. And you know, we do this show Best of 7 almost every week, so I'm sure we're going to ask you on again. Probably.
Well, I would love to.
Yeah, because it's really fun, and it's, you know, we talk about a lot of different topics, so definitely would be great having your input on more than one occasion, if this was a pleasant experience for you.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I'm not really someone who likes to toot my own horn, if that acronym or if that phrase fits, so I don't really, seek out opportunities to,
yeah, to talk
present myself.
Right.
But, you know, if somebody wants me, on a stream or they want to talk about BarCraft, talk about BarCraft.
Any parting words, Mike?
Yeah.
What was that?
Any parting words?
Parting words? No, I don't have any parting words. But again, I want to echo what they said. Thank you for coming on. It was really. I should have notes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be making some of those. That was.
Oh yeah.
Gotta call it Fungal Grove.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Are we gonna get these ingredients, Kitty?
Yes.
All I make is infestors.
Yes, and we're gonna do fungal growths this weekend. We're gonna take pictures and we're gonna send them to you, and we're gonna post them on our Facebook group and
during
or
after.
Tag you.
Viva La Dirt! Viva La Dirt this Saturday.
Oh yeah, we're interviewing Viva La Dirt this Saturday. If you're interested.
If you haven't heard of them, please type in YouTube Viva La Dirt and watch all of their videos.
All of them.
Their first video, the Office Space parody.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
all of them.
Oh, Oscar, you gotta check this out. They're really, really funny.
So funny.
I will.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna shut the stream off right now. We'll be back in 2, 4, 5 minutes. Okay.
Awesome. Good luck.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.